Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, post-market report on this. It's Wednesday, right? I'm losing track of everything. August 30th, 2023. I couldn't get the lights as good as this morning, but I'm working on it. Anyway, we have a lot to talk about. Some really incredible information out of the U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve. I do want to talk about that. It's just so in our face what's going on. And I've said this a million times. The truth is always hidden in plain sight. And that's really what's going on here. Let's start off with that. It appears that since February of this year, the Federal Reserve has been well aware that the situation that we are in, it was certainly not temporary, certainly not transitory, and has the potential, according to their own words, to be a nightmare. Let me read this to you. This is from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. Are you ready? This is in conclusions, okay, at the bottom of this very long paper, which I did post in my free newsletter, so it's in your inbox if you subscribe to my newsletter. So anyway, as the result, this is crazy. As a result of the high current U.S. government debt to GDP ratio and continuing projected deficits, you and I have known, I don't know how freaking long, that debts and deficits were to continue to explode because number one, it's by design. Number two, they got nowhere to go but much higher. But anyway, okay, let's move on. We face a possible dollar inflation uncertainty nightmare. Their words, not mine, okay? Continuing deficits, if unchecked, eventually will lead to a fiscal dominance problem. And then they go on to say this problem seems likely about this nightmare, given the way Congress has behaved in the recent years. So you see what the Fed is doing here? They're covering their rear ends. Who's responsible? Tell me again. For the economy? For the financial system and the financial markets? Yes, it's the central banks of the world. But of course, they're deflecting. So, we told you so. It's in the report back in February that we could face a dollar inflation nightmare. I mean, they knew this. But why is it? Let me ask you your opinion on this. Is this the first time you're hearing about this? Probably. How about our loving, caring representatives? How about these freaks that all told us this was going to go away and there was no problem, but now they're telling us this is likely? This problem seems likely? This is crazy. Now, let me read something else to you. This is the U.S. Treasury, I wrote all over it, financial report. So it plays right off of what I just read to you. So U.S. Treasury's financial report admits that the current combination of government debt and projected deficits are not feasible as a matter of basic math because it would result in an outrageously high government debt to GDP ratio. Speaking of GDP, we got this GDP number today. It came in lower than expected. How about if you strip out government spending? We are so deeply in the negative. But you can't know that. You see, you're not allowed to know that's how it works. Yes, government spending is calculated in GDP. Take it away, we are done and we're finished. Anyway, what all this comes down to is a situation which can and will only get much worse as central banks must, by design, this is me, continue to inflate with no end in sight. They know what they're doing. They've been selling us a lie, multiple lies at multiple levels, and it just won't stop. The current nightmare situation is only being made worse as our so-called puppet leaders are going to promise to spend even more moving forward. And that plays right into, again, this conclusion by the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. Just listen to this one more time, please. As the result of high current U.S. government debt to GDP ratio and continuing projected deficits, we face a possible dollar inflation uncertainty nightmare, and this problem seems likely. Come on, they knew it. They knew this, and it's in our freaking face. Where's the outcry? Where's the uproar? Where's the information? Well, guess what? It's hidden in plain sight. You just got to know where to look for it. Make this stuff up. Please, will some of you make something up like this up? It would make me feel a lot better. Anyway, thank you all of you for being here. Lava, Magic Mika, where's Goldstein? Is she here? All my other lovely friends. Anyway, let's talk about this market. Despite the fact that we got, let's see, continuing bad news this morning. Just to recap, mortgage rates now hit a 23-year high and home affordability at a 39-year low. But we're doing so great. Again, this GDP number that they floated out today, you gotta be kidding me. You see, they think you're too stupid. They think that you are too stupid to know the truth, but I know for a fact that you're not too stupid. On the back of what we found out yesterday, the Chinese economy, everyone knows what's going on over here. Okay, more stimulus, cuts moving forward, and then of course we had this miracle. This miracle happened that you and I said would likely happen. I don't know, for many weeks now. That what could the Fed do? 3 things. Bring the 10-year yield down. Oh, it has certainly fallen. Managed to weaken the relative strength of the dollar. That just by some coincidence happens to fall. And they could prop up the stock market. They're not done. Someone reminded me that I said a long time ago that they could split the world in half and the stock market would still go up, because that's easy money. Easy money powers the market. And, you got, I'm certain people gleeful all over the place, look, as they always do, prior to every single freaking meltdown. They're looking at their 401ks and their investment. Oh, everything's just fantastic. I'm loving it. And all of a sudden it just evaporates and they wonder, what happened? What happened? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. So anyway, on the back of all this, we've seen some pretty incredible moves here. We watched the Mannarino market risk indicator, which I happen to believe is the best ultimate risk indicator that's ever been created, drop precipitously over the past week. We're over 280, on our way to 300. They won't allow that to happen again, it looks like. And then, of course, the cavalry comes in buying all the debt. You got BlackRock admitting they're buying the debt too. And then, of course, the dollar weakens and the MMRI comes down. We're around 260 right now. Don't be surprised to see this drop even further, because, again, the game is rigged. The game is rigged. They're going to keep propping this up. Why? Don't forget where we're at, people. This is a presidential selection cycle. And if you think for the slightest second that your vote counts, wow, are you out of touch with reality? Because if your vote counted at all, if it was worth spit, you wouldn't be allowed to vote. You understand? You have no representation. Get used to it. It's all part of a massive con job, right, chat? We know where we're at here. Anyway, so on top of, this is just part of the news today. The U.S. economy growing. It's growing at a slower pace than they predicted based on GDP, which were actually deeply in the negative, strip out government spending. The stock market seemed to put on some gains today. Nothing major, higher nonetheless. It's all part of this thing that is going on. The market clearly believes on the back of what was going on over here in China with their stimulus, with their cutting rates, that the Fed's going to have to follow suit. I don't think so. I believe the Fed is going to continue to pressure the middle class, as I have outlined for all of you there. Again, we're in the middle of a new thing, a whole new set of rules, a new paradigm. I've warned about this for a decade. They're eliminating an entire class of people here, and it's an unbelievable thing to see, to actually watch happen. And this stuff is in our face. They're admitting what we already know. Again, none of you are surprised to hear that out of their own mouths. The Fed is admitting that there's a possible dollar inflationary nightmare, which seems likely. But they're telling us via the mainstream media, oh, it's okay. It's temporary and transitory. It's going to go away. You see, what we're going to do is we're going to raise rates. And eventually, when we raise rates to a certain level, inflation is just going to go away and everybody's going to be happy because we're all rich. You know this is true because that's what they're telling you. And I'm pointing to my freaking TV over there. Make this, I dare someone here, GeoRider, make it up. Make up something like this, okay? It's Joe Potter, make something up. Mr. David, make it up. Make up something that can even come close to this. I think it's an impossibility. Oh, we also found out today. Oh, wait, I really want to see your shocked face. You want to see mine? Well, no. The U.S. trade gap just, of course, it's unexpected. Also widened. We have become a nation of we import everything. We don't make anything. What's our greatest export products here in the United States? Does anyone want to fill in the blanks? You know what they are. Inflation and, of course, propaganda. Yeah, that's what we export to the rest of the world. Make it up. Make it up. And of course, the U.S. U.S. jobs growth here, according to their words already, this is not me, has slowed sharply, much more so than any one of them expected. No one saw this one coming either. How about you? Yes, I know you did. See, that's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of this thing that we've created, you and me, all of you here. We are so far ahead of the curve that sometimes I get chills down my spine when I read this stuff and I find this stuff here that we know is going on. That's why none of us are surprised. I mean, they could pretty much throw anything at us, but we already know about it. We know what they want to do because we know who the enemy is, and we know what they want out of us. They want us all gone. You think I'm kidding here? You don't think we're in the middle of some kind of a depopulation event here? You don't think so? Yes, and it's about to get much, much worse. Much, much worse. Count on it. But again, the people are going to sit back and do nothing about it. They're going to just march like sheep into the slaughter. Count on it. Count on it, people. Yes, Mr. Crocodile. Unfortunately, yes. You see, not you and me, though. You and me didn't do this to ourselves, Mr. Crocodile. I like that name, by the way. We are the few. We are among those people, all of you here, who can see further down the line. You see, I don't know if you want to. I don't even think it's a gift. Whatever it is, some of us are allowed or are capable of looking at the bigger picture, seeing a little further down the road than most people who walk through life. They don't know who they are. Who am I? What am I doing? Oh, I'm just a drone. I get up every day to an alarm clock. I work and I go home and I go eat and go to sleep and get fatter and eat the poisonous food and breathe the nonsense in the air. They're trying to kill us all. Well, they shove pills down their throat, thinking that they're all going to be better. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. The zombie apocalypse is freaking real. Yeah, yeah, I know, Lava. You're absolutely right. They're setting the groundwork here for the new this thing and the new that thing, and it's all a little bit of a distraction now with this big storm here. I know some people apparently are getting hit pretty good with this. Where I am here in Sarasota, we sidestepped it. I'm only going to be here for about another maybe 6 weeks or so before I move into the new place. Anyway, what else, people? What can I tell you? Joe, thank you. Again, you and I'm preaching to the choir. But thank you all for those thumbs up. 542 so far, and I really do appreciate that. All of you. Goulstein, you're here. Become your own CUDA. Yeah. Or Copo Camaro, one of the two. Anyway, so that's going to be it. Unless you have some questions for me right now, because I'm getting yelled at by people. Greg, I'm posting questions. You're not answering them. So let's do this just real quick. Anything you guys and girls got on your mind you want me to cover before I get out of here? What does Lorraine think about this? Yeah, she's on the same page, everybody. The Copo running. Yes, the Copo is running. I haven't taken it to the drags yet. I will at one point, probably in a couple of weeks. Donald Trump is here. Donald, look, bro, you had your chance, and whatever. I don't know what to say about it. You did try to empower the Federal Reserve, calling for negative rates and a weaker dollar. Didn't happen, thankfully. We'd be a lot worse off than we are now. But we'll see what happens. Whoever they choose to sit behind the Resolute desk. Thank you, Clever Custom Performance. I appreciate that as well. Anyway, Yeah, JEPI still looks good to me. Look, let's talk about that real quick. Great question. The S&P 500 is now back over its 50-day moving average, which is essentially a bullish sign. We had a pullback. We hadn't had one in the longest time. We watched what happened here when risk rose in this market. Unfortunately, no, you're right. This is no longer America at all. The America that we thought that this is not. This is the United States of corporate America now, and it's just we've let this all go, and it's turned out to be a horror show. Yes, warp speed vaccines is part of the problem, and we know all about it. JEPI again, going back to that real quick. I want to buy more of this stuff. I don't think they're done propping up this market. I really don't. I think we nailed it to the wall on this. I'm not saying I wasn't a little nervous here and there because it didn't look like the cavalry was going to arrive, but it looks like they have. I mean, we have watched risk in this market, which is still very elevated, okay? But we've watched it come down, and the market believes one of two things is going to happen. Or let's just focus on two. You ready? Two. One, the Fed is going to pause, or the Fed is going to eventually, sooner than later, start cutting rates, and obviously stimulate the stock market even further, and that's playing into this as well. I honestly think they're going to keep the pressure. Look, I've called the Fed wrong 3 times in a decade. In 10 years, I've only called the Fed wrong 3 times. That's a fact. You can look up my record. It's second to none. I stay on top of this. I really, really do. I don't think they're done. I would be amazed. I don't think they're ready to pause yet. I think they want to keep the pressure on. Thank you, whatever that is. CK6. I appreciate that. Not sure what that is, but I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yes, you're right. They want us on our freaking knees. And you know what? Most people are going to willingly do that. Not you and me. Okay. We are the resistance. Just getting this information out there. Okay. And letting people hear these things, how they were certainly absolutely aware. They're absolutely aware about this inflationary nightmare that they've created. But now they want to push the blame off. You have to understand, central banks, the Federal Reserve, these are sovereign entities. They answer to no higher earthly power. Thank you, Melanie. You understand? And it doesn't seem like the man upstairs wants to do anything about it right now. Maybe he's waiting for us to take action. You know what I'm saying? My mom used to always say, God helps those who help themselves. She rammed this into my head from probably the first words that came out of my mouth. And it doesn't seem like people want to help themselves. This environment, it's a slave environment. And they're creating more slaves to the system and dependency on the system. It's an incredible thing to witness, to see. And it just goes on, and it's just going to get worse and worse. Debts and deficits, just like this thing is outlining here, that paper that I read to you that is in your inbox if you subscribe to my newsletter. This nightmare scenario is not going to get any better. Okay, it's going to get a lot worse. The pressure on the middle class is going to get worse by design. And the illusion of the market, it appears to me right now, gauging from what we're seeing, that the illusion of the market, thank you, Raspberry. I love that. That's a great name, by the way. The illusion of the market is going to be maintained. Again, people see their 401ks. They look at, they turn on CNBC and Bloomberg, and they go, the cheerleaders, rah, 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 the market. And they think there's a connection to the economy. There is none at all. You got the propaganda ministry. This is just a deception tactic, telling you to look here at the Dow, forget everything else. And do you think that anyone from the mainstream media is going to talk about this note here from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, warning, basically saying that this problem seems likely, that we're going to face an inflationary nightmare? Did you think anyone would get that script? Again, that's all they do is they get a script and they read it. Or this here from the Treasury financial report talking about debts and deficits. This is not sustainable. Do you think that we would talk about this? No, they can't do it, and they're not allowed to do it. Really, honestly, you all know that. Wow, we're almost up to 800 thumbs up. Oh man, people, I tell you, again, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, and all of you are just so important. We're all part of the same thing. We're out here. Look, I don't want fame and I don't want money. Okay, that's the truth. What I want is for people to understand what's happening to them. And all of you are also doing the same thing. You're all part of this. Okay. I'm sure all of you, it's the same kind of thing. You want people to wake the freak up. And we're all part of it. I mean, yes, I create these lovely videos with the help of all of you. Okay. And we get this stuff out there. We're making a difference. I know that for a fact because I hear from people every day from all over the freaking world. We are making a positive difference in the world, and that's what matters to me. That's all that matters to me, honestly. All right. I'm going to get out of here. I will see all of you in the morning. Thank you all for your support, for those thumbs up, for your kind words, for being here with me every day, and helping me remain sane. Because without this, I honestly think they'd have me in a straitjacket in some kind of a padded room. This helps me, get this stuff out. Holy mackerel! I'm stunned. Unbelievable. Thank you. Look at that. Silver, silver, silver. Absolutely. All right, people. Yes, the Fed's buying it all. We can go on and on, but I'm going to get out of here before I get some complaints. This thing is 21 freaking minutes long. Thank you all. Thank you. You're the greatest. I love all of you. I'll see you in the morning. Okay.